I never thought one night, just a single quiet night, could change how I saw everything. Not just my life, but him. I had always seen Daniel as my late husband's son. My stepson. Nothing more, nothing less. We were cordial. Friendly, even. But distant, in that polite way people are when fate throws them together without warning. He moved in with me after his father's sudden passing. A cold, cruel December had taken James from us both, and left behind a silence that hung like a ghost in the hallway. Daniel was 26. Independent, thoughtful, quiet. I was 44, and tired in ways I couldn't explain. We coexisted like shadows in the same house. Until that one night. It was raining. One of those relentless storms that presses against your windows like 1,000 fingers trying to get in. I had just come home from work, exhausted, soaked, and emotionally drained after a call with my mother that reopened old wounds. I dropped my coat by the door and went to the kitchen to pour myself a glass of red wine. As I leaned against the counter, I heard the soft creak of the stairs. It was Daniel. He was wearing a simple grey t-shirt and sweatpants, barefoot, his hair slightly messy from what looked like a nap. "I thought you were asleep," I said softly. "I was," he replied. "But I heard the storm. And then, I heard you." I offered him a weak smile. "Did I slam the door?" He shrugged. "No. It just sounded like something was off." I hesitated for a moment, then poured a second glass of wine. "Join me." He nodded. We sat on the couch, side by side, the storm tapping at the windows like an impatient child. For a few minutes, we said nothing. The kind of silence that doesn't beg to be filled. Then he turned to me and said, "You don't have to keep pretending you're okay, you know." I blinked. "What do you mean?" "You're always putting on this brave face. Always smiling. Always doing things for everyone. I don't know how you do it." I swallowed, the warmth of the wine doing little to ease the lump in my throat. "Because if I stop," I whispered, "I don't know if I'll be able to start again." His eyes didn't leave mine. "You don't always have to be strong, Rachel. Not with me." No one had called me by my name like that in a while. Not like he did, quiet, grounded, and full of sincerity. I looked away, embarrassed by the tears suddenly forming in my eyes. But then I felt his hand on mine. Warm. Steady. Not demanding. Just there. And that simple touch undid something inside me. We talked for hours. About James. About life. About the dreams I'd given up. About the ones he was afraid to chase. We laughed. We cried. And for the first time since James died, I felt like I wasn't grieving alone. It wasn't until the power flickered and finally went out that we realized how late it had gotten. The house fell into darkness, the only light coming from the storm-muted moon. Daniel stood up. "I'll go grab some candles." When he came back, the candles cast a golden glow across the room, and for a moment, I didn't see my stepson. I saw a man. A man who had carried grief in his own quiet way. A man who had stepped in, not as a burden, but as support. He sat close. Closer than before. And then it happened. Not a kiss. Not a touch. Just a gaze. Long, deep. Unspoken. Something shifted. I stood up abruptly. I should go to bed. He stood up too. Of course. But as I turned away, I felt his hand gently hold my arm. Not to stop me. Just to pause me. "Rachel," he said, his voice low, thick. "I didn't mean to make things confusing. I care about you." I closed my eyes, exhaling a breath I didn't know I was holding. "I know," I said. "I care about you too." That night, I didn't sleep. Not because I was worried or ashamed, but because my mind wouldn't stop racing. Was I imagining things? Was it just the grief, the wine, the storm? Or had something real, quiet but undeniable, formed between us? The days that followed were cautious, gentle, respectful. Daniel didn't push. He didn't pry. But something had changed. He made me coffee every morning. He started waiting up for me when I came home. He laughed more. I smiled more. And the space between us didn't feel like space anymore. It felt like understanding. 2 weeks later, on a quiet Sunday morning, we found ourselves sitting outside on the porch, the sun warming our skin. He handed me a cup of tea and asked, "Do you ever wonder if maybe some people are brought together not by blood, but by healing?" I looked at him. "I think about that a lot," I replied. He nodded, then added, "Maybe James leaving wasn't just an ending. Maybe it was a beginning for something neither of us saw coming." I felt tears rise again. But this time, they weren't from grief. They were from something softer. Something that felt dangerously like hope.